Good morning, I'm Pat Croce, and this is the American Cancer Society's HEALED Community Gathering. HEALED, health and energy through active living every day. Yes. And a yes and a big thanks to our media sponsor, 6ABC, who puts this telecast on all of their connective TV platforms. All of our leadership partners who've helped funded the HEALED research going on as we speak in Atlanta. And to all of you who have gone to our website, acshealed.com, made a minimal contribution or a maximum, and got your bracelet to wear this HEALED Black Lava Bead bracelet in unity, in solidarity, that we're all in this together, this movement. We start every week with a moment of stillness. So I ask you just to place your attention lovingly on this Tibetan bell. Beautiful. Where was the past? Where was the future? Where was worry and angst and anger and frustration and disappointment? Not in that present moment, and it won't be for the next 60 minutes. When you're with us, you're entering this sacred space of sharing. And I want to once again thank you. So all of you, whether you're watching this on Facebook and YouTube with live streaming or the recording afterward, thank you for joining us. We're here 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday. And it's for all of you to be inspired, to be informed, to be entertained, to be encouraged to make an active daily commitment to being healthier, to be more energetic, to smile, to have the body, mind, and spirit in concert as one with the ultimate spirit. And that's what we're here. We're bringing a spirit, a universal spirit for the next 60 minutes, and this vibrational energy will spread. It's already spreading. We call it a movement, a healed movement. And again, thank you for joining this healed movement, and do it with a smile. Go out there and show your bracelet, raise your arm, maybe a peace sign with that. Well, you're going to love our guest. We have great guests. This is our week 14. This is week 14 for our HEALED gatherings. And today I've invited back my sweetheart, Jeanie Subach, Dr. Jeanie Subach, but I call her Jeanie. Jeanie used to work for me many years ago as a sports physical therapist, and then I hired her when I was the conditioning coach for the Flyers, and then I hired her when I was the conditioning coach for the Sixers, and then I hired her when I was running the Sixers. Dr. Jeanie Subach is a registered dietitian, a board-certified sports specialist dietitian, a faculty member at the Department of Nutrition at Westchester University, which I love, and also the culinary program. She runs the Rams Chefs, Westchester Rams Chefs, a culinary program for, check this out, young adults with developmental disabilities. I just love Jeanie sharing her expertise with all of us. Well, I mean, she is one person who, if I have any nutrition dietary questions, this is the resource. And so she's been with us before, and I'm going to have her back every week. The first Wednesday of every month, she will be with us because we've had such grand requests for her information. And so we'll just go live. Welcome, Jeanie.
Hey, Pat, how are you? Wow, what an introduction, but thank you.
I love having you. Look at that smile. I just love it. So, Jeanie, since you're coming back, and maybe some people haven't seen you or with us before, I love that Daily Dozen that you shared. You had a T-shirt on, and we're not going to concentrate on the all dozen today, but do you remember, do you have that with you?
I don't have it, but it comes from here. And this is Dr. Michael Greger's How Not to Die. It's a book that I highly recommend reading it. If you're running, and we're going to talk about the Broad Street Run today and exercise. So I would listen to How Not to Die when I was running, and it's a great listen. And it tells you all about things that you should be eating on a regular basis in order to promote health, okay? Health and physical fitness. And Dr. Greger has 12 things that he wants you to do. What we're going to concentrate today on are the things that he talks about are fruits. So our apples, our oranges, our pears, our plums, our nectarines, our berries, because he's a big guy on berries. He's huge on berries. The dark green leafy vegetables, the cruciferous vegetables, and that's all those things that come from the cabbage family. So your broccoli, your cauliflower, your bok choy, your kohlrabi, all those great things. Your dark green leafy vegetables, your spices, and your seeds. So that's what we're going to focus on today. But he has a whole list. You can go to his book. He has a great website, Pat. If you can put it a website, he has a great app. You put it on your phone, and when you eat your foods, you check off and see how well you did. Last week we talked about your breakfast. My breakfast is whole grain oats. I have blueberries, I have flaxseed, I have blackberries, I have a little bit of cinnamon. So I'm getting 5 out of the 12 on my as soon as I eat my morning meal.
Okay, and I have almond milk yogurt.
Okay.
With granola.
Perfect.
My wife's homemade granola.
And that's a whole
blueberries,
fruit, a bird,
blueberries,
another
flaxseed, chia seeds, and sesame seeds.
Yep, awesome. So you're getting about 7 out of the 12, and that's just in one meal. So we want to try to incorporate fruits and vegetables into every meal that we eat. So the dietary guidelines for Americans, the new ones that came out last year, what they say, Pat, is make every bite count. All right, so think about that. So what is your food doing for you? We have a great swim coach at the university, Steve Mazurek, and he tells his athletes, how much does your body have to recover from the foods that you eat, right? So as a sports dietitian, we talk about recovery foods, but so often we stress our bodies with putting not so great food in it. So Coach Steve says, how much does your body have to recover from the foods that you're eating? And if you're eating from this daily dozen, if you're eating whole foods, whole grains, fruits and vegetables, your body's going to recover beautifully. And it's going to do beautiful things, both inside and outside.
Okay, Jeannie, I have one question, and it has nothing to do with the questions I prepared, but I used to have bananas in addition to the other fruits that I have in my yogurt, the bowl of yogurt. But I decided that extra 80, 100 calories was maybe too much sugar. What's your is your viewpoint relative to bananas?
Let's stop right now and saying too much sugar coming from fruit. All right. Please know that fruits have the natural sugar. It's still sugar. You're right. It is still sugar, but I'm not really concerned about sugar coming from your fruits. That is a natural sugar. I'm concerned about the added sugar that you're going to see on the label, things that man is putting into our food. To answer your question about the bananas, yes, the bananas are higher in carbohydrate and calorie content than other fruits just because of their composition, but they're loaded with vitamins and minerals, potassium, all these great things. For the athlete, they're a great recovery food because they have a lot of carbohydrates to put it back. But you, Pat, me, Pat, we're getting older. And as we get older, we don't like to admit it, we don't need as many calories as we did when we were in our 20s and 30s. So that 100 calories or so that you might be saying, oh, I'm not going to be putting in because of the banana, that's accurate. But to say that you're not going to eat a banana is not necessary.
Perfect. No, I got it. Okay, another question on my bowl of yogurt. So the blueberries and strawberries, we use organic.
Okay.
I don't know squat organic versus conventional. My wife says we have to have organic. What's the difference?
All right. So from a nutrient composition, there's not a significant difference. They've done a lot of studies, and they have found that organically grown produce does have slight increases in certain nutrients, but not really significant. So in science, and as a registered dietitian, we're all evidence-based, and we look at these studies and systematic reviews. So yes, some of the nutrients, specifically the vitamin A, the vitamin C, it's a little bit higher in organic produce, but we have to look at the whole population, Pat. Organic produce, we know, is more expensive. if everybody had no budget on food, I would say everybody buy organic if possible, because we do know that it's grown. There's regulations and it doesn't have the pesticides and the herbicides as the conventional produce. But what we as nutrition professionals are seeing, that some people get so hyped up with this organic thing that if they can't find organic or they can't afford it, they're not eating produce. And we know that is so bad, because the benefits of the fruits and the vegetables are so powerful, and especially in cancer prevention. So I'm going to say that if you have the means, you most certainly can buy the organic produce, and that's wonderful. If your means are not as great, be a smart shopper. You can go to BJ's and you can get frozen organic produce that's very, very affordable. Aldi has great organic produce. Walmart even has great organic produce. So you have to be the savvy shopper. If not, make sure that you're washing your fruits and vegetables very well.
Stay right there, because that was going to be my next question. So Diane gets these great canisters of blueberries and strawberries and raspberries. And did you wash them? I forgot. I was hungry.
You gotta wash
Do we have to wash them?
Oh, you have to wash them. Yeah, you have to wash. I mean, even if it's organic, it still comes from the dirt. You're not going to put a spoonful of dirt.
So you're telling me the manufacturers don't wash them at all? They're just giving us dirty fruit?
Well, they do, but the manufacturers are touching them, right? You want to eat somebody touched? Wash your
so you're saying you definitely have to wash all fruit that you buy?
You definitely have to wash. So yeah, and even bananas, like bananas, you peel it, but someone's touching that peel. And I know I take a banana, I peel it, and then I break it off with my hand. So yeah, wash everything.
So wait a second. You're telling me I have to wash the banana too?
You should. In a perfect world, you should wash your bananas. Yeah.
Diane's probably clapping somewhere listening to this right now.
Good.
Okay, so now I'll get to the normal questions outside my breakfast. How about in season versus out season produce, fruit, veggies? Like, what's the difference relative to nutritional value, to taste, to timing? Okay,
so what we say is you want to eat in season and you want to buy local as much as possible. All right, so right now, the blueberries, they're going at, like, I was at the farmer's market last Saturday and the vendor said, this is our last container of blueberries. And I went, I'm so sad. And he said, don't be sad. There's a season for everything, right? And we know that there is a season for everything. So after the summer produce goes out of season, I will start to buy frozen. Okay. Oh. So I'm buying blueberries now. And, come about September, October, I will go to the frozen variety, because
so stay with those, Jeannie. Tell us, because I have no clue. What is going out of season?
What is going out of season? Well, strawberries are kind of going out of season, especially in this area. That's normally the June. The blueberries are going out of season. The nectarines and peaches are in season, but by the end of the summer, all of our what we classify as summer fruits will be going out of season. Something like asparagus. Asparagus went out of season, like, in the spring, but because we have a global, a global network of our food supply, you can get it all year round. Okay, so what you can do, Pat, and we will put this on our Facebook page, Produce for Better Health is a fantastic resource for our guests that they can look, and there are charts of when everything is in season. Okay, you can go to Produce for Better Health. It's fruit and veggies, and you go onto that, and it lists everything of what's in season. So we'll go to the root vegetables in the fall. So all of those things that are coming from underground, the sweet potatoes and the parsnips and all those wonderful vegetables in the fall, they're the root vegetables. That's what we're going to be eating from from fall into winter.
Now, do you have a best of summer, best of fall in vegetables and produce?
No, they're all great. I mean, best of is what you're going to eat, is what you like, is what you're going to eat. So it's individualized, and also what you have available to you. Okay, that's a big thing, is food availability. Because the one thing that I want to stress is people should not stress about what they're eating. I know so many people that are so fixated on having the perfect diet that they take the enjoyment out of it. And we know you can't do that. In my class that I teach at the university, one of the student learning outcomes is to promote pleasurable eating. So I'm teaching these young students, future dietitians, that we need to work with our clients and teach them to cook something that they're going to enjoy. And hopefully what they're going to enjoy has a high nutrient content and is going to promote health.
So you were going to touch on some of the other produce, like the leafy green vegetables.
Yeah, the dark green. So right now we were talking before the Ram Chefs. We talked about our Ram Chefs, great group.
Well, talk about that briefly. What is that Ram Chef? I love the idea.
Oh, okay. It's my heart. It is my heart and soul. So the Ram Chefs is a group of young adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities. And they range from Livy's 21 up to Kate, who's 38. And they come onto campus. Well, during COVID, we came on Zoom and we cook every week. We teach them how to cook. Last semester, we did a study on the Instapot. We taught them how to make healthy foods in the Instapot with the goal of having them to live independently and to be able to care for themselves from a health standpoint to cook independently. We have a garden on campus. It's 8 raised beds. And we have kale and we have eggplant and peppers and tomatoes and zucchini and peas and carrots, you name it, we have it. They come, they harvest it. One of their favorite snacks is our green drink, which is kale. And we have some cherry juice and we have some carrots and we have some cucumbers. We whoosh it all up and it's a great snack. We do put a little banana to sweeten it. And it's a great snack that they're getting probably about 5 of the daily dozen in a drink.
Jeanie, stay with that little green drink. What is that a smoothie?
You can call it a smoothie. Yeah. I typically don't like the term smoothie because when you look at the smoothie that you get out, a lot of times they have maybe a lot of calories in it. And we know, Pat, that we need to be conscious of maintaining a weight that is good for us. We don't need to be skinny minis, right? But we want to make sure that we're at a healthy weight, a weight that we can move, a weight that our blood profiles are good, are positive. So a lot of the commercial drinks that you're getting might have a lot of calories and might have too much sugar, like added sugar in it. So we want to avoid that. We like a green drink that the base is a vegetable because we know. Yeah, the base should be the vegetable. In our green drink, it has 2 cups of greens, 2 cups of greens, cucumbers, and carrots. So 3 of the ingredients are vegetables.
Wait. 2 cups of greens.
Yeah.
What do you mean by greens?
Kale, Swiss chard, spinach, collard greens, any. Yeah.
And then what else do you throw in your green drink?
So our recipe, a secret recipe, we put a 1/2 cup of 100% fruit juice. Our guys happen to like the cherry. If you're an athlete, you can put the tart cherry juice for inflammation. We can do that. So we have a 1/2 cup of juice. We have 1 carrot. We have a 1/2 of a cucumber, and we have 2 cups of greens. We whoosh it all up with some ice, and it makes a beautiful drink.
That's it. No additional anything.
No, sometimes we do put a banana, depending if the greens are a little bit bitter, we'll put a frozen banana in there. So. And
how's it taste?
Oh, it's incredible.
And about how many calories would that be?
It's about 150 calories.
And about how much fiber?
Oh, gee, probably about maybe 4 or 5 grams of fiber.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. It's great because from a fiber standpoint, Pat, we're looking at about 30 grams. Ladies, they say about 25 grams of fiber. You guys out there, you need about 36. So we average it 30.
So average per day, 30 grams of fiber. How about for our gathering members who are overcoming cancer, either from the diagnosis or from the treatment plan? Is there any recommendation relative to fruits and vegetables, fiber, nutrients that they should be implementing in their diet?
Well, first, we are patient-centered. We are person-centered. Let's talk to them. What can they eat? If they don't feel like eating, I'm not going to push anything on it. I'm going to recommend that you have as healthy a diet as possible. So yes, fruits and vegetables. If you go on to the American Institute of Cancer Research, they have what they call the New American Plate. And the New American Plate is the majority of fruits and vegetables and small amounts of animal protein. It's that plant-based diet. So yes, we do recommend fruits and vegetables. We always said, do you remember the old 5 a day?
Yes.
Remember Joe Cargione?
Oh, yeah. Right here on Action News.
Yeah, Action News. He was great. He was in Produce Pete. They're fantastic because they tell us that that's what we should be eating, you know? Why do you think, Pat, when you walk into the supermarket, why do you think the produce aisle is the first thing you walk into? Because that's what we should be eating, right? That's what we should be eating. You look in there, and I used to take the Sixers down there, and people would look at us because I'm not real tall, and they were really tall, and we would stand in the produce aisle, and I would say, "What do you see?" I'd say, "Name as many colors as you can see," and they'd name all these colors because every fruit and vegetable, every color has a different nutrient property. So if you eat as many colors as possible, that's going to give you that variety. And you're not going to get sick of it, you know? Eat your broccoli. Well, you can get sick of broccoli after a while. So eat your broccoli, add some Brussels, add some green beans, add some carrots, liven it up, okay? So as many fruits and vegetables as you can. Whole grains, not processed foods is what we want to do. And, you know, just enjoy it. Get some great cookbooks. Learn how to
Jeanie,
cook.
you're talking right now, and you mentioned the word plant-based diet. And I know you have a little different definition than you might see out there in the public eye. So please describe for our membership your plant-based diet definition.
All right, so my plant-based diet, I don't have my, let me see if I have my, nope, not prepared, my plate. My plant-based diet means that the majority of the foods that you're eating are fruits, vegetables, whole grains. I personally believe that a plant-based diet can contain small amounts of animal protein. Now, I'm not talking going to fast food and getting the double cheeseburger with the bacon. I'm not talking about processed animal products. I'm not talking about bacon and scrapple and sausage and things like that. But by all means, if you enjoy a chicken breast, if you enjoy fish, fish, salmon, we do recommend salmon or fatty fishes a couple times a week for the omega-3 fatty acids. Red meat, many of our friends that are either going through cancer treatment or diagnosis, many times they have low iron levels. And we do know that red meat is the best, it's a great source of the absorbable heme iron. So I think we have to understand, Pat, is our healed community, we are healing, right? We are healing. So we need to nourish our body. We need to use this food as a vehicle to put nutrients into our body and to get things working again. So don't be afraid of the animal protein. I don't want you eating it every day. I don't want you eating it every meal, but a few times a week is okay.
Thank you, Jeanie. Now, this is Dr. Jeanie Subach, a professor at Westchester University in the Department of Nutrition, and one of my good friends who's helped me with the Sixers and the Flyers and many decades in the past. Jeanie, just go sit on the bench on the sideline, and I'm going to bring you back in about quarter of. We're going to have our other guests right now, and I know that our membership have questions for you, and I know I have plenty of questions for you, but I'm hogging up your time. Thanks, Jeanie.
Okay, thanks, Pat.
Our next guest is Amy, let me make sure I say this right, Lukasevich. Lukasevich, I think that's it. She's a 53-year-old survivor and thriver with incurable, I repeat, incurable stage 4 follicular lymphoma. And then 2 years after that diagnosis, she was diagnosed with large B-cell lymphoma. The second cancer is curable. The first one is treatable, but not curable. You're going to love Amy. I saw a video of her speech at the determination for ACS 2 years ago, and she's just fabulous. She's a runner, the Broad Street, as Jeanie was talking about, the Broad Street run she's done. We'll see. We'll talk to her about it. She's a dog walker, And I think you're going to love Amy. Come on, Amy.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. What does that shirt? What's that whole shirt say?
That's this is when you run for determination and do their events. This is the great kind of shirt that you can wear.
Well, why don't we start with that? And why don't you tell us what determination is besides what you have? We know you have determination.
Right. So and the ACS might be able to add more. So for the American Cancer Society, determination is the athletes portion of the American Cancer Society. We run, we bike, and we raise money for the American Cancer Society to fight cancers, all kinds of cancers, any kind of cancer. But the goal is to raise money and raise awareness for the American Cancer Society.
Well, that shirt looks beautiful on you.
Oh, I am very honored to wear this shirt. Always honored when I run with this shirt.
Amy, would you share with us your story?
Sure. So it's funny that you talk about me being a runner, because I have been active all of my life, sports in high school. I've been a college and high school basketball official for the past 15 years. So I have always been active, but never a runner per se. So right before in 2013 is when I decided I want to be a runner. So I trained and ran a couple 5Ks, a couple 10Ks. And then I thought, boy, it would be pretty gutsy to run 10 miles down Broad Street. And we think of down Broad Street as, straight downhill. So in my head, I could run straight downhill for 10 miles. If all else fails, you just, lay down and roll down. And we know that down Broad Street is not straight downhill. So anyway, I decided that I was going to run Broad Street in 2014. And so I started training in January, and I had a chronic cough for many years, controlled a little bit by allergy medicines, but it was always there. So my family doctor suggested that I go see a gastroenterologist. I did, and she did an endoscopy. And what she found, so first of all, in the recovery room, after my endoscopy, she came to me and said, everything looked great. I took some blind biopsies for no reason. It looked good. Let's schedule a follow-up and get you back in here and see what else we can do for your coughing. So the day that I was scheduled for a follow-up, I canceled. It was April. It was 3 weeks before Broad Street. I was feeling great. I was, running 8-9 miles without any problem. And I really didn't have time to go in and sit in front of her and be told that everything was okay in the endoscopy again. So I got a call later that day, and she said, I was concerned when your name fell off my schedule because I need to tell you something. And
that's never good. It's never good. And so I sat down on my front stoop while we were on the phone, and she said, you have cancer. And I mean, right then your ears start to ring, everything starts to get foggy and fuzzy. And I said, what do you mean I have cancer? And she said, you have lymphoma, follicular lymphoma. And for a little bit, we went on a little bit of a loop because I couldn't hear. I couldn't believe that. How could I have cancer? I am as active as I am. You saw nothing on the endoscopy, but the great thing that she did was she took blind biopsies for no apparent reason, just took some. And that's where she found the lymphoma. And all I kept thinking was, I'm going to die. I'm going to leave my kids. They were 20 and 24 at the time. I'm going to break my mother's heart. Because when you have cancer, at least for me, your mind immediately goes to, I'm going to die. So we go into staging to kind of find out exactly what we're dealing with. And we find out that it is follicular lymphoma. It's indolent. There is no cure for it, but it is treatable. And it was stage 4 because it was, as well as being in my intestines, it was also in the bone marrow. And the thing, like you said, Pat, the thing with my cancer, that it's not curable,
But one of the problems with it is that it can sometimes transition to a more aggressive form of lymphoma. So I ran my first Broad Street with stage 4 cancer. And
Did you complete it?
I did. Yeah, I
Oh,
did. And I felt great. I felt as good as I felt the day I had my endoscopy. I didn't feel like I had cancer. Almost felt like I can't tell anybody I have cancer because I don't look like I have cancer. And people are going to think, well, you don't have cancer. Or you almost have no reason to say you have cancer because you look healthy. You don't. This is, these are the mind games that you have.
The voice in the head.
The voice in the head, boy, does it beat us up. So for 2 years, again, being healthy and that active, I was in front of my oncologist every 2 to 3 months, blood work, a physical, CAT scans, endoscopies, colonoscopies, because the treatment plan for the kind of follicular lymphoma I had was called watch and wait, which sounds crazy because who would ever watch cancer? Who would ever wait for it to get to a certain place? But that was the treatment plan for my kind of lymphoma. It was at the cellular level. You couldn't cut it out. You couldn't, chemotherapy won't reach it. You couldn't radiate it. You had to let it grow, and then kind of like grass. So it was in the roots and you had to let it grow. And once it got to a certain level, then you mow it down, but you never get to the root of it. It'll just grow and you mow it down, grow it, mow it down. So for 2 years, like I said, I saw my doctor, and then almost exactly 2 years after my diagnosis, I started feeling not well. It never dawned on me that something else was going on. I was still am a middle-aged woman thinking it has to be menopause. That's why I'm having, night sweats and discomfort and everything like that. What we found out was that my sleepy little, you're going to die with it, not from it, cancer had transitioned to aggressive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. And once we had that information, my doctor gave me 48 hours. He said, we're starting chemo in 48 hours. This cancer had to be cured. There was no living with it. You cured it or else. That was the only option with this kind of cancer. So I started chemotherapy. And for my first 2.5 months of chemotherapy, I continued to run 5Ks because I could, especially for the 5 days right after the chemo treatment when they had me on steroids. Then I really felt good, but I felt well enough to continue to run. I went to the gym. I did yoga things. So now this is the end of 2016. Things started to slow down. The chemotherapy starts to accumulate. So I wasn't really running anymore, but I was walking, biking, doing weights, all of that good kind of stuff. The things that I learned about during chemotherapy was that I didn't like to look like I had cancer, not because I was trying to hide from it. I didn't want anybody to pity me. And more than that, I didn't want my kids to worry about me. I didn't have any hair, so I was always in a hat. It was October, November, December, January, so I was always wearing a hat. I don't know how you guys walk around in the winter without a hat on 24/7. And so I was living in a hat. I didn't want my kids to see me not feeling well. So I used to almost, when they would come in the house, if I was taking a nap, I would pop up and pretend I was doing something else. I didn't want them to think Mom is so sick, she's taking a nap. And even with my daughter, she was in law school at the time and had a broken ankle. So she was here living at the house. And at 8:30 at night, instead of saying, Caitlin, I'm going to bed, I would say, I'm going to lay down for a little bit. Let me know if you need anything. Again, I didn't want her to think Mom is so sick, she's got to go to bed right now. And so after chemotherapy and radiation, I went into remission with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. But because the follicular lymphoma is not curable, I would always have that. So the chemotherapy would just take care of the diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, the aggressive one, not the original one. So I'm in remission with the diffuse large B-cell lymphoma and continue to live and thrive with the follicular lymphoma. And that's where I am today. And you know, Pat, I didn't cry once during chemo or since I was diagnosed. I didn't cry much. And I said to God when I was first diagnosed, if you let this be a battle that I can win, I won't complain and I'll use it for good somehow. I didn't know how. And I said to God out loud on Holy Thursday, but if I'm terminal and you take me from my kids, we're through, which is you kind of weird. You're, threatening God on Holy Thursday, telling him we're through. I mean, that's, not how it works. And
Amy, I have a question.
Yeah.
This warrior facade that you demonstrated for your kids,
Yeah.
what was truly going through your mind? How were you taking care of the voice in the head that was always scaring the bejesus out of you?
It was tough. It was really.
This is really important because people listening, the
Mhm.
voice in the head is projecting to the future of what might not happen in the way you want it. How do you deal with that?
Well, for me, it was about movement, and movement has always been an outlet for me. And I kept thinking that if I can move, if I can show my kids that even before chemotherapy and during chemotherapy, that I can still move, I can still go to the gym, I can stuff like that, that they will see that this is something that you can live with. But a lot of times what got to me, Pat, in my head was survivor's guilt. I would see people that were passing from cancer. I went to 4 funerals during chemotherapy from people who passed with cancer, and I had survivor's guilt. I thought I shouldn't even be here because, their loved one passed with cancer and I'm still living, and you almost feel guilty living. So again,
Well, how did you alleviate that guilt?
I think it was just time. I had a good friend of mine who taught me how to meditate.
Oh, that I didn't know this, but that's a great answer.
It took me a long time to learn to meditate. It took me a long time to let go, because as he's trying to teach me and he's doing a guided meditation, I'm laying there thinking about, wait a minute, I've got to go to the grocery store. And then after that, I have to do this, that, and the other thing. And it really took me a while to be able to focus on that peaceful place. I have never been a quiet person. I've never been one. I'm always active, moving fast, going on to the next thing. So to actually kind of be still and be quiet, that took a lot of work.
Okay, so what was the turning point where the work worked?
I think it was just making myself do it. I think it was coming on the other side of chemotherapy and radiation and saying, okay, I feel as good as I did before I was diagnosed. So things are going to be okay. And we'll, continue until maybe the next time that I have to have chemo. It took time. There was not one thing, Pat, that flipped the switch. It was a time thing. It was feeling healthier again. It was eating right. I mean, Jeanie, I could listen to her for hours and hours and hours. I mean, when you're just like, oh, Jeanie, you go on the sidelines. I'm like, no, stay here. Her information is just fascinating and it makes sense and it works and moving.
Yeah, but so does your information, Amy. Your information is fascinating. Your information works. Jeanie can help us with nutrition.
Right.
But there's something about mental fortitude. There's something about quieting the voice in the head. There's something about stillness in someone who is perpetually active. There's something in a positive mental attitude toward life. There's something about physical fitness as part of a treatment plan.
Right.
You are the role model for healed health and energy through active living every day. And with that point, what exactly are you doing as part of your active living every day?
Well, I am back to training for this year's Broad Street Run. It's going to be a slow one. I will probably walk more than run more. I'm just coming off of an IT band injury.
Okay, wait a second. Does that bother you when you say it's a slow one?
No.
Okay, that's good, girl.
But years ago, it did. Years
I don't care
ago,
about
when I
years
started
ago.
running.
No, I don't care. I
Don't go
care.
back.
I don't care.
Yeah.
No pass. Nope, I
Yeah.
do not care.
Yeah.
I only care about how you feel now, and your perspective of it's a slow run just means it's not a slow run. It's
Right.
just a slow run.
That's all it is.
But who are you
Time doesn't
comparing
bother me.
yourself to? No one. Don't.
No.
No comparisons. You're enjoying your training?
I am. Again, it's a little bit of a process just getting off crutches a couple weeks ago. And I am glad that Diana mentioned that we've got 10 weeks left and there's a 10-week plan out there. I'm like, okay, good. That makes me feel like I've got more control.
How did you hurt your IT band? An IT band for our viewers is an iliotibial band that's on the side of your hip, attaches to the side of your knee. So you're doing stretching for that, I presume.
I am doing a lot of stretching, but I'm also my physical therapist. God bless her. She does not make enough money on all the injuries.
What's her name?
Laura Elko, and she's at Mobility Specialist in Paoli. And I'm chronic injuries. I have flat feet, Pat. I have my joints are way too lax. You get a tight IT band, and now your body is just compensating. And then all of a sudden you go to get out of your car after a basketball game and you can barely walk. And there you are. So coming out of the IT band, training for Broad Street, I have been doing walking. I've been doing a lot of cycling and a lot of strengthening and stretching and rolling that IT band. It makes you want to scream when you're digging in that.
So why don't you share with our viewers, what do you mean by rolling?
So taking either like a foam roller, you're actually laying on your side, putting all your weight on the IT band, and you are rolling on top of a fat roller, a foam roller. Or I also have, because I've had Achilles issues, the long rollers that are like this.
Looks like a rolling pin.
It looks like a rolling pin. And you find the tender spots, and Laura says, you find the spots that are tender and you add a little pressure and let's break up that tight little scar tissue. And I'll tell you what, she is mean when she is pushing in on those. She is a mean physical therapist. I say that in jest because she's a doll, but she's a huge part of me, being upright and moving forward.
So you have 10 weeks of training now for
10
this
weeks.
next Broad Street run?
Yes.
I've run that Broad Street run twice many years ago before I had the motorcycle accident. And that's just a tough, there's no downhill on that.
It's really, you're not really going, you might be going down South Street, but you're not going down South Street. Oh, Pat, do you see my bracelet?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
Yep. Love it.
Well, look,
Love it.
stay right here, Amy. Stay
Okay.
right here. Let's bring Jeanie back because you might have some questions for Jeanie. And I know some of our members have. There she is. Look, I got these two vivacious, energetic. Yeah, let's all put it on. I can't even. There you go.
There you go.
That's a picture right there. I love it. People down in Ocean City, they give me this in the air. They put their arm up in the air. And luckily, there's no finger extended from it. It's just the bracelet.
That's good.
So, Amy, do you have a question for Jeanie?
I do. Jeanie, I am just fascinated with your information. Even the last time that you were on, when you were talking about the daily dozen, and you're just like, so it's this, and I'm like, check. And I'm thinking, okay, what do I do on a daily basis? And as you're saying it, even with the collagen, check. Mm-hmm. So, Jeanie, the fact that I have cancer, and it was explained to me as almost like chronic inflammation is what I'm living with at a cellular level. What are the things that I should, other than the daily dozen, or maybe even compartmentalize from the daily dozen, make sure that I'm having every single day to help this inflammation?
Well, the foods that are high in the antioxidants, foods that are high in vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E. Okay. And what does that go? That goes back to all the fruits and the vegetables.
Great.
So
Okay.
fruits and vegetables, kind of the end all be all. Last segment I talked about how we were introduced to the green drink from a relative that had cancer, and she felt that when she drank the green drink every day, she said she could feel her inflammation was not there, and that it would build up when she was away from it. So it's the fruits and vegetables. And you know what? This will help you. You were just talking about the mind and the depression and the anxiety. Just as we were sitting here, I got a notification from the Daily Dozen, and it's an article that says fruits and vegetables put to the test for blood and for boosting mood. And they go down, and it says there was a systematic review saying that just an increase in 100 grams of fruits or vegetables a day decreased incidence of depression. And that's about an apple a day. So
okay, Jeanie, stay there, because I want you to be more specific and qualify your answer for Amy. Fruits and vegetables for her inflammation, that's not good enough. Tell her how many servings.
So I would say have a serving of vegetables at every meal, and then 2 to 3 servings of fruit. So
a day or meal?
Well, per day. Depends on how. So in the breakfast, always include a fruit and a vegetable at breakfast. So if you're making eggs, throw a little spinach on it. Right. If you're making, even better, an egg sandwich, which is the egg and the spinach and a beautiful tomato. Right now it's seasonal. Put that on top of it. Look at the nutrients. If you're having, say, a grilled chicken sandwich, put the lettuce and the tomato and the spinach and the peppers. Peppers are also so great. Good source of vitamin A, that antioxidant. Snack on things like hummus, which is a bean, which is a plant. And instead of using crackers, you could use a whole grain cracker, but use a scoop of a delicious red bell pepper, cucumbers, broccoli with that. Soups. I love soups, and especially with people that don't have a big appetite. And we know the old chicken soup is good for the soul. Vegetable soup is even better, because you can throw that, and a lot of people that don't like vegetables, they can tolerate it in a soup, and you can make a beautiful vegetable soup. I love cabbage soup. One of Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen is the fact that you should be doing the cruciferous vegetables. So you make a cabbage soup, which is just vegetable broth with some cabbage, potatoes, carrots, onions, celery. You have a meal, and that's very anti-inflammation.
Beautiful, beautiful. Amy, do you have another question before we go to our members?
I did.
If not, well, you can think of one. Diana, why don't you come on?
Hi, Pat.
Hi, Diana. How are you?
I'm doing well. And this is such great conversation, and as we talked earlier, this is so much, I'm interested in all of this. So I may have a couple of questions of my own. But first, we do have a question from one of our Facebook viewers. Sean Kirk asked, for Dr. Subach, what specific fruits and vegetables do you recommend that are anti-inflammatory?
They're all anti-inflammatory, but I would say specific, Pat, get ones that are good sources of vitamin C. So your citrus fruits, strawberries are also great vitamin C. Kiwi fruits. Did you know kiwi fruits are a good source of vitamin C?
Wow.
Potatoes are a good source of vitamin C too, and potassium. So I would say your citrus fruits, your berries, and then of course your dark green leafy vegetables always should be included in your diet.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, and now I have a question for Amy. You talked about the voice in the head. And so what do you do, considering you have cancer that you're going to have for the rest of your life? What do you do to keep that voice at bay?
I constantly tell myself, at the end of my life, am I going to wish I would have worried more? Or am I going to wish I would have taken a walk with the dogs or taken a hike with my husband? And that's not how I thought pre-cancer, but after cancer and now living with it, I've got to make a decision. Do I want to worry about it every day, or do I want to live my life? And I've seen too many people pass. My best friend's husband, 52 years old, passed on Saturday from cancer. I don't want to waste any time worrying about it. And I have such a great group of physicians, oncologists around me. That's their job to worry about it. They keep tabs on me with the blood work and the CAT scans and everything else. So I don't need to worry about it.
Diana, can I answer that too? I'd like to answer that for your member question, but also for Amy. because I chair a Sangha on Sundays, Amy, and these are all people who are totally into the spiritual realm. And the voice in the head is very powerful. And that's the first recognition that we need to make, that there is a voice. Some of our members right now are saying, what voice? That one. That one that's asking the question in your head that's continually chattering. So what I recommend is once you recognize that there is a voice in the head, that's a major threshold. Then what I suggest you do is give it a name. Like mine, Amy, is the Mad Irishman from Braveheart. That crazy guy that was next to Mel Gibson when they were warring with the paint. Because mine says the craziest stuff. But I don't believe anything the voice says. Nothing. I just say, shut up and get out of here. I might be a little more crude with it. But when you realize and give it a name, then you know it's not you. But people think their thoughts are them, and they become attached with a me to the thought, and it becomes a belief then. To separate a belief from a thought, you take the me away and you give it a name, it's not an entity, it's an activity, and just say, whatever that name is. So Amy, next time I'm with you, I want that voice in the head's name. You got to think of a good name to give that voice that's saying,
I'm going to write that down right now. I need a name.
Worrying about this.
You got it.
That's so helpful just to name that voice in the head and realize that it's not you, it's not true, so let it flow through.
Thank you, Pat. That helps. That's very helpful.
Diana?
Okay, Dr. Subach. For all of us amateur gardeners, what if we had to plant 3 things in our home garden in the summer here in Pennsylvania, what would you recommend?
I would say tomatoes because they're relatively easy to grow and there's a lot of different varieties and they're a good source of lycopene, which is and vitamin C and vitamin A, which was one. Peppers, again, because they're very easy to grow and a good source of vitamin C, antioxidants. And I would say, well, can I give 2?
Mm-hmm.
Swiss chard.
Okay.
Because I make the best Swiss chard enchiladas, pinto bean Swiss chard enchiladas. So that would do that. Or kale, because kale is one of those that if you have to buy organic, that's one you should probably buy organic, and you can grow it organic in your own backyard. And it is so hardy. It starts to you get harvest in June all the way up to December. And last year I had it until February. It just kept on going. So I would say the tomatoes, the peppers, and then the Swiss chard or the kale.
Jeanie, when you talk about peppers, green, red, is there a bias?
Nope, all types. All types are fine. Dr. Greger loves colors, and he says the more colorful, the better. So it doesn't really matter. I like a beautiful red pepper.
Any more, Diana?
Well, just going on that comment you just made, Dr. Subach. So give us an example of some of the things that we may not think about as far as colors. We think of produce and vegetables. We think of tomatoes and spinach. And, what are some of the other colors out there that maybe we should try next summer at the farmer's market? So
the subgroups, the beta carotene, the oranges and the yellows, they're really, really important. So when we get into the fall, like the sweet potato is like, I could live on a sweet potato for months. It's so wonderful. So the sweet potatoes, the yams, the carrots and purple carrots. We're growing purple carrots in our garden as well. Eggplant is beautiful. So the radishes, so all the different colors you can do. And plus also garlic and onions are so incredible for you. So a lot of health benefits. So we're going to talk about our red that we see our red, the purple, and then I would say the subgroups of the oranges and the yellows.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. I have a question for Amy.
Yes.
Amy, you are a stage 4 survivor and thriver of follicular cancer as we speak, lymphoma, as we speak.
Yep.
And you are a runner. If there's someone watching right now who would be interested in a running program, in a fitness program with you as their role model, how should they get started?
I think you can Google a running program. if you've never done it before, they have couch to 5Ks. And they'll give you different options. I mean, you can really draw it out, and don't think, oh my gosh, 3.1 miles, I could never do that. Just say, okay, this week, this day, what am I supposed to do? And don't get so hung up on the schedule that, oh my gosh, it says Tuesday, I have to run half a mile. I don't have time on Tuesday. Then do it Monday, do it Wednesday. Follow the program and just take it a little bit at a time, and don't be so overwhelmed that you feel like you can't deviate a little bit.
Did you get your doctor's permission on your program?
When I met my oncologist, he knew that I was very active. And one of the first things that I asked him when I met him was, because again, knowing nothing about it, was, am I still going to be able to run? Am I going to be able to officiate? And he said, yes, absolutely.
So are you still officiating as we speak?
I am. I did. The only year that I took off the winter that I was having chemo, because honestly, I didn't want to be the bald official on the court taking attention away from the game, from the kids. And, it was lovely. It was the first winter that I was home in 15 years, and it was really nice. It was really nice.
You are a powerful inspiration. Do you have any more questions, Diana, for Amy or Jeanie?
Just one more, another from one of our Facebook viewers. Peggy has a question for you, Amy. As a cancer patient survivor, are you more prone to injury?
I have been told that the reason I have one injury for the past, different injury every summer for the past 6 years, is because I'm a little more prone, because my body is, fighting something else, and I still am going about my life, and it's got a lot to do when I'm staying active and I have cancer. So yeah, every summer for the past 6 years, I have had some kind of injury that has sidelined me, and thank God for Laura Elko.
Mm-hmm.
Jeanie, you have something to add there?
No.
I just want to add that the energy that you are unconsciously focusing on the healing or maintaining of a body such as yours, Amy, that is at a stage 4 cancer quality, that you don't realize is taking a toll on your body. And that's why it's so important that when you train, you can't train exactly like you did pre-diagnosis.
Right.
And so when you say you're going to walk a slow 10 miles, I applaud you.
Thank you.
The running that, remember, you're running it anyway. You're
Right.
running it with a body that has been diagnosed with cancer. Not you. You haven't been diagnosed. Your body has. You're still that gregarious, vivacious, energetic spirit that says, I can do this. I am going to live. I'm going to grow my kids to see them do whatever they're going to do to the best of their ability. So I just want you to realize, and those out there, that when you have any illness or any disease process, the body's innate power is directed toward healing, harmonious healing. That's how the divine universe works. It helps us to heal in a way. So don't beat yourself up. Don't let the voice in the head tell you that you're not doing all that you can do. Know that you're fighting 2 battles at once, to stay in shape and to stay healthy.
Right.
So we're almost done. And before I leave, is there anything, Amy or Dr. Subach, you'd like to add?
Just one of the things that I started saying to myself from the very beginning when I was diagnosed, I'm a big fan of Jimmy V. And, I'm sure you know, Pat, his famous speech where he said, don't give up, don't ever give up. I think about that a lot. I think about it when I'm running and I am tired and maybe I want to start walking, but I know I'm just being lazy or whatever it is, or I don't feel like moving as far. When I am frustrated and scared that the headache I have, well, maybe the cancer has now metastasized to my brain. I keep coming back to Jimmy V's quote, don't give up, don't ever give up. I actually have it on a tab on my running shoes, and I look down at it quite often.
That's beautiful.
I think it's
Beautiful, Amy.
important to have something, a little thing that you can kind of remind yourself that almost comes naturally to kind of get you back on track a little bit every once in a while.
Amy, thank you for sharing your loving patience and presence with us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
Dr. Jeanie Subach, we'll see you in a month. Jeannie's going to be with us the first Wednesday of every month. I just love your attitude, information, insights. Thank you once again.
Great. Thanks for having me. Looking
And to
forward.
all of you, we end with a prayer. If you haven't been with us before, it's a simple prayer. It's just a prayer of gratitude. Thank you for the grace in helping me welcome what is happening right now. Right now. Thank you for the grace. It requires grace in helping us welcome what is happening right now. Thank you all for joining us. ACSHealed.com. Peace.